Well, hi there. I'm recording this for Shanti Shanti and Guru Ram Das Center for Healing. And what I'm doing is just letting you know what it was like to do yoga therapy through their center. So, one of the first questions was, what attracted you to teaching therapeutic Kundalini yoga? Well, there were so many students asking about healing things with movement and meditation. They were hurting on their shoulders. They were hurting. Um, they were having cancers. They were in all kinds of situations where they needed healing, and so they would ask me, and I wouldn't know what to say. I would say, well, I'll have to check back with you. And sometimes I still have to do that because I'll check with the other yoga therapy students and teachers and ask them, what in the world would you do with this situation? But before, I didn't know where to go really. So um, I would send lots of emails to them and other people that I knew of that were doing yoga therapy, and and it was secondhand, third-hand information. So the next question here was, what was the first therapeutic training that I took? And what impact did it have on me personally as a yoga teacher? Well, the first thing I took was foundations, and it was I had been pretty directive up to that point, do this. First we do this, then we do that. And and one of the first things that we learned in yoga therapy was to approach things differently. So, as a teacher in the beginning, it was just the keep up spirit, keep up, keep up, keep up, push, 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 do more, do more, do it longer. So, the way that Kundalini yoga therapy training changed my practice in yoga teaching was there was a softening that was going on. There was more awareness about meeting students where they are, because sometimes they are doing the best they can do. They can't lift their legs. They're they're doing the best they can do. So it was an acknowledgement of, you hang in there. I see you make an effort. I see you make an effort. Boy, that's what counts. The effort is what counts. And so foundations helped with that. And then so of course then I wanted to do the next course and the next course and the next course, and pretty soon I was signed up to do the whole thing. So, what particular talent or gift did I find that got awakened during that training? Well, I found out that I like the senior population. There's so much wisdom there and so much humor because they know that they're often in an impossible situation, or they're doing the best they can. They're blind, or they can't hear anymore, and but they want to know what you're saying, so they'll wave you over, and would you repeat that again for the third time? It's okay, and so I will. So I really like the senior groups, and so they have such stories. So what was something I discovered about yoga and myself during the training, and what impact did it have on me? Well, I found out that I didn't know anything about PTSD, and I thought I knew a little bit, and I was working with people that were triggered over every little thing. And the stories about what they'd been through was heartbreaking, and I wanted to help. So I learned how to listen better. So, how am I using what I learned in the training for clients and students? Well, I'm working with the group weekly in a senior center, doing mostly Kriyas for the heart, because they can get so downhearted there. It helps them keep their spirits up when they're enduring all kinds of hardships. Some have lost limbs, some are battling diabetes, many have very limited movement. and lots of depression over family not coming to see them near enough. And so they're trying to make family out of the people that are living there, and sometimes it doesn't work. So I just try to give them a little encouragement that they're doing good. They're doing good. They're reaching out. They're moving a little bit. It's helping them get stronger, and they have a lot of heart. So, what makes therapeutic Kundalini yoga meaningful to me, and has the meaning evolved over time? Well, now I have names and faces that represent diseases and disabilities that were just words on paper before. It's become more personal. The one-on-one interactions where they tell me that they've slept through the night for the first time in months can be very encouraging, that it's making a difference. And they can they tell me that they can reach things, reach out and take hold of things that were before their arms hurt too much. They couldn't move enough to stand or reach things that now are in grasp. So seeing a difference has been encouraging for me, and it inspires me about teaching therapeutically and being a yoga therapist now. I'm inspired by the people that it's made a difference for. Seeing a difference, seeing these people who were willing to experiment on themselves. They were willing to move and meditate in a different way, many of which had never meditated before. And they were willing to try it out because there's only so much that a medicine can do. There's only so much that a nurse can do or a procedure. And then you still have to be there with yourself, and hours of being there with yourself. And so these meditations have a way of making that better for people, making your mind a little easier place to be. So, one of the stories I had about a barrier experienced along the way was with the whole class, actually. I came to Grace Living Center and I was asking them, would they like a yoga class, a therapeutic yoga class? And they said, what? These people can barely move. In the beginning, they would fall asleep. They were so over medicated, or they would be wincing. You'd see their faces kind of wince in pain when they make all kinds of movements. And so I had to work with them about where to find the limits, where they can go with a little bit of movement and find the edge and not go too far and hurt themselves. So they were just so kind. They were just so patient and willing to work with me. And so we would slow down and make each movement more conscious. And many could not do Kirtan Kriya at the beginning. They couldn't, their brain was so disconnected from their body, they couldn't figure out this is the index finger, this is the middle finger, this is the ring finger, this is the little finger. So we did that Kriya for a year. Every week we'd do the same Kriya. It was the heart opening Kriya and Kirtan Kriya as part of it. And so we would just slow it down, and we only did about 5 minutes of it, and they began to find their rhythm. They couldn't remember the sequence of the finger movements, but we did the same meditation and hung in there, learning how to reconnect with their bodies that had become such a hostile environment. Their bodies hurt. So we just kept working with it. And it did make a difference. So for this little group in Grace Living Center, they look forward to us coming. Ravi comes and teaches with me some of the time, and they're patiently waiting for me when I come in their wheelchairs, and they're looking around like, okay, well, when are we going to start? And there's such enthusiasm with even just the warm-ups. They do a marching warm-up in their chair, and I do have a little short video clip that I can send you guys. Okay, so the next question here was, what do I envision for the future as a therapeutic Kundalini teacher, or for Kundalini yoga as a whole? What do I envision? Well, I'd love to see it in every grade school, actually. I'd love to see it in every senior center and every apartment complex where there's a fitness room. I'd like to see it really much more widespread with the music and the movement, even if they're short classes, like 30 minutes or so. It's just so valuable and so helpful. So thank you guys for all of your help, and thank you for all the resources that I gained in ways to look up and deal with specific things that go deeper. So I just want to tell you thank you, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye bye.